Welcome back to New Realities. This is going to be a fantastic show with some truly amazing people, and I'm really happy that some of my friends and my new friends are going to be here. And this is part of a whole series that Waxella Sinanda is doing. Well, I'll introduce her, but let me just introduce my partner in broadcasting, Neil Gore, and Portal to Ascension. Thank you, Neil, for being here. Anything you want to
Sure.
say about?
Just yeah, hello to everybody, and I'm excited just to be here right in the beginning of this panel discussion for the event that was put on by Waxella. Just connected with her a couple months ago, and then now we're all here, and I got to be featured as one as a guest on her platform. And from the first moment having a conversation with Waxella, I felt a deep resonance, and I definitely felt the heart-centered energy in what she was about. So really wanted to contribute and be a part of it. So I'm just excited to be here on this panel with some of the amazing luminaries that were a part of this event. And it did so well. Such profound information was shared, and it went out to many, many people. So I'm excited for that. So that's it on the event, and we're going to get into the panel discussion pretty soon and introduce Waxella.
Right.
But for myself, I am the founder of Portal to Ascension. And we're basically a conscious event production company organization, full circle in regards to live events, online events. At this point, since 2018, it's been around 100 to 110 events a year, workshops, conferences, retreats, multi-day summits, 5-day summits, 10 hours a day, like streams of consciousness, and working with at this point, definitely over 2,000 individual presenters since 2008, and have created an archive of over 10,000 hours of presentations on portaltoascension.org. And we have many events lined up. I'll just give you just a few of them that are coming up here. We have the Extraterrestrial Races, Planets, and Technology one coming up in a few weeks. We have the Kundalini Conference. We have the Paranormal and Ancient Folklore Conference. So it's just a one-stop shop for awareness, in which we're going through every avenue possible to really paint a beautiful tapestry of what it means to be a human on this planet within the cosmos. So if you guys are interested in knowing more about what I do and what we do, and Alan is like emceeing half of the events that we do, like he's like one of my best friends. You can go to portaltoascension.org, sign up there, and you actually get 3,000 hours of free presentations just for signing up. And then you can just stay updated with all that we do. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Neil. I do think it's so important we keep bringing people together, keep bringing our community together. That's why I'm so happy about what you're doing, Waxella, and creating these special focus conferences, the Alchemy of Ascension. That is something that, just hearing the Alchemy of Ascension just sparks the deep initiate urgings that are still lingering on a soul level to be part of that. And I'm really happy you're here, and thank you for bringing these beautiful people together. And why don't you talk about the what is it, 10 days that you put together, and then introduce some of our guests tonight, and then we'll go into the discussion. So go ahead. I'm going to spotlight you on this.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Ellen. Wow, I am so honored and humbled to be a part of this collaboration, to get to, commune and collaborate with all of these amazing people who are teachers and leaders and way showers in the field of ascension. And so the Alchemy of Ascension, this is actually my 5th season. It is a summit and podcast series that I do twice each year. And each one has its own theme. So this one is all about activating starseeds, walk-ins, and the new human of the golden age. And so these conversations, every one of the conversations, and it started March 4th, and it's an email conference. And so hopefully, Ellen, you can put the link to register. You just have to register. It's all free from March 4th to March 18th. But at the end, there will be a replay period. So I know if you're just joining, you probably missed some. So stay tuned and you'll be able to see them all. But each one is sent out by email on the day of that speaker, 2 speakers per day for 2 weeks. And I have to say, the response to this one has been phenomenal. It's just really touching people's hearts. And every single speaker brings this medicine of the stars and the medicine of ascension in their own unique way. And when I brought in the theme of activating star seeds, that's really deep in my heart. One of the things that I experienced growing up, very, very young, I was visited from my earliest memories, about 3 years old, and I was in rural Iowa. I didn't have the outlet or the people to talk to understand what was happening to me. And I was careful not to talk about it because I knew other people weren't having these experiences. So really my foundational desire is to make this not only okay to talk about, but the thing to talk about, and to activate us and be able, for everyone that feels that that aloneness or that desire to share in a way that they're afraid to be judged for, this is the opportunity to step up and say, you know what, this is my time to share the truth of who I am and to speak about my experiences, whether it's visitations or deep meditations, or even just a feeling or a knowing that you're connected to star races, or that maybe you've had experiences and you've been afraid to share about that. So that it's about this opening up the conversation and activating that truth that exists in all of us, whatever that might be. And so the alchemy in this case is really the turning the darkness or the quiet or the fear of being public about what you're speaking into your gold, and the willingness to share, the willingness to feel free to be truly who you are here to be at this time of ascension on our planet. The more of us that are activated, the more of us that are speaking out and willing to share, that just creates a ripple effect, and it helps everybody ascend and wake up and activate faster. So that's really my foundational reason.
I love it. I love everything you're saying. This is our language, our family. Everyone who's watching is feeling this, I think, vibrational shift. Despite what the world might be going through, this is our mission to help raise the frequency. So please introduce everyone that's here, and they could talk about what they do a little bit, but I want people to know what the talent we have here today is.
Absolutely. So maybe I'll just go one by one.
Yeah.
I guess we've already introduced Neil, and Alan, I don't know would you like to share a little bit about what you're up to?
Oh, thank you. I've just written this book called Making Contact, which is about what it takes to really go beyond our limited humanity and start to realize who we are in connection to the cosmos, and that there are no beings greater than us. They may be smarter, maybe greater technology, but the essence of who we are is equal to anything that we would meet out there. So when we start to make contact with ourselves, with the earth, and with the others, we are ascending the planet, essentially. But it's also a collection of essays by the top speakers in the field. So I'm doing that. I'm also speaking at a conference coming up, the Ascension Retreat in Sedona, March 18th to the 20th. That's just a little bit. But this has been my work. So meeting new friends here, it's always exciting to expand the community because I love to connect the dots, and this is what we're doing. So thank you for this opportunity, Waxella. So
I'm so happy to have you, and thanks for hosting us, Ellen. This is amazing just to have your platform to share on, and for all of us to be together.
Yes.
So so I'm going to start with Galactic Shaman Celia Fenn. I'd love for you to introduce yourself and just say a little bit about your work.
Thank you, Waxella. I'm in South Africa, in Cape Town. So I'm representing the South here. I am a writer, a channel, and an ascension teacher. And my major interest at the moment is in what you call the new human of the Golden Age. And I'm working very much with the coming together of body, soul, and spirit, and the actual work of the DNA, the activation of the DNA, so it becomes part of this complex. So that I think Archangel Michael, who my channel has told me, that we are in fact becoming a new species as we move into this new golden age. And as I spoke to you on my session, we're moving from being Homo sapiens, the thinking human, to what I call Homo luminoso, which is the light, heart-centered, galactic, Christed human being on the planet. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Thank you. And you give private readings too, and all, right?
Yeah, I do. I was traveling the world. As you know, I met you in New York, and I traveled. I've been like on a wonderful journey, literally around the world. But then when COVID happened, I moved across to the webinars. And so I teach online, I do webinars, and I do readings as well. So
And you channel, and
yes,
your
I do.
channel.
I channel and I write. I'm a conscious channel, and I write for myself. I was told a while back to not focus just on the channel, but to develop my own abilities as well, so that I work in partnership as a channel. So yeah, I do channel, but I do also write myself.
Well, maybe you could bring through a message later if something comes to. Okay, who else do we have, Waxella?
Okay, so I'm just going to go in order of who I see at the top of the screen. And next, I will introduce Melissa Feick. Melissa's fascinating. She's so many things. So Melissa, I'll just let you introduce yourself and what you're up to in the world.
Hi, Waxella. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Alan, thank you for this beautiful opportunity, and Neil. So I'm Melissa Feick. I am my passion is Ascension and working with people to accelerate their awakening and raising their consciousness. I am the best-selling author of A Radical Approach to the Akashic Records, Master Your Life, Raise Your Vibration. This is a different take on the records. It's all about utilizing the records on the quantum field to completely unwind old patterns, because the records become rewritten. So these are more of the Ascension records, more than the records that we utilize on the lower planes of existence. But my real passion is just service through love and recognizing that we are here all, and we're trying to do the best we can as humans, recognizing that we are ascending, we are raising our vibration. I do activations. I've been doing activations since I think the first activation I ever did was 2010. They taught me how to grid with specific crystals, and then they started bringing in light code energies. And this was something that was happening before I really understood it. But now every year it seems like it's getting more and more powerful. And I am now based in Sedona, and I do retreats, and I just really believe in ascension and alchemy work and recreation of recalibrating who we are from old paradigm to new one. Thank God.
How would you define ascension? I'm just curious because everyone defines it differently.
Yeah, to me, ascension is all about the process of creation. So we are moving from the old paradigm energy into a new one. So this is a blueprint that has already been created, and we are just following the blueprint. And we are to relax into that blueprint and allow the process to happen, because it's an evolutionary process.
Great, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, who do we have up next?
Okay, so next I'd like to introduce Dr. John Ryan. John, would you like to share about what you do?
Yes, hi, thank you, Waxella, and thank you, Alan and Neil, too, for hosting this wonderful event, and a big hello to all the other presenters. It's so beautiful to be with each of you and to share the energy of this experience together and with the audience. My background's a little bit different. I'm grounded in scientific material. I'm a physician and I'm a professor of medicine here at the university. And I've been doing that for over 30 years. But just about the time when I started to practice initially back in like around 1989, I went through a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And I had no idea what the heck I was living back in the day. I had no information, no sources of knowledge. I just kind of had to fuddle my way through this, but it triggered an openness to understand both the spiritual and the energetic nature of reality. And I began to integrate what I was learning and experience into healing paradigms. And so over the course of time, I did a lot of work in energy healing and consciousness-based healing. And then I began to have visions, meditative visions that began to teach me about the quantum nature of DNA and how this is an integral part of healing and how the transformation that's taking place through the DNA system is really what can evoke miraculous healing, a very special kind of healing on the planet. And of course, the moment you cross that threshold, you're in the ascension paradigm because healing and ascension go hand in hand. The act of stepping into these higher vibrational energies, into recalibrating the quantum DNA system that we each hold as a spiritual being, it really brings in healing opportunities, but it also awakens us to our multidimensional nature, as well as our spiritual origins and galactic origins. And so this was integrated in the work I was doing. And then in about 2019, for the first time in a meditation, I had a visitation from light beings. And I've always known they were working in the background and, calling in angelic forces and elemental forces in healing was a natural part of what I was doing. But they presented themselves as a group of Syrian light beings, and they referred to themselves as the Syrian Blue-White Collective. And they explained that they've been working behind the scenes through all of the teaching and healing that I've been receiving. But they wanted to begin a series of ascension transmissions. And so they presented themselves in a way I could recognize them so that we could work together in a more conscious way through the transmissions. And so now, since that time, I host a monthly transmission event, and they take us on a journey through the ascension process. In essence, it's kind of a series of transmissions, and each one has a theme that's focused around a very specific aspect of the ascension integration. And so that and the healing work, which is referred to as unity field healing, is the foundation of what I do in terms of spiritual and energy-based healing.
Well, maybe you could bring some stuff through later.
I'd be delighted.
That would be a little jam session here, channel jam session. But why not?
Yeah,
thanks.
Sure.
That's
my pleasure. Thank you, Alan.
Great. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So next we have Megan Camille and Michelle Lee of the Sophia Mystery School. And we'll start with Megan.
Okay, my turn. Yay. Hello. I've co-founded the Sophia Mystery School with my mother, Michelle Lee, where we teach energetics and quantum magic. I also specialize in intuitive business, where I have created multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses through channeling. And intuitive being psychic. I've been psychic since I was a little girl, and it led me to shifting wealth into this realm of enlightenment, of ascension into the hands of starseeds. So we co-found Sophia Mystery School, and I do intuitive business consulting. I'm so excited to be here.
Wow. I want to talk to you about all that. That's great.
Yeah, I would love to.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Waxella. Thank you, Alan, for making this possible. Thank you, Megan, for starting us off. As she said, I'm Megan's mom, and we co-founded the Sophia Mystery School. She talked about that and how we, our current process in the Sophia Mystery School is called Walking Between Worlds, where we are taking our clients through 90 days of turning a soul purpose project and realizing it in 90 days. Megan and I working together had realized that we manifest in about 90 days. And so we are taking our clients through our process and doing that. I have been supporting women in reclaiming their power for almost 25 years. I started out by teaching women to reclaim their power over the birthing process and have peaceful, calm, painless birth experiences. I have been taken aboard UFOs. My first conscious memory of that is when I was pregnant with Megan. And I know it wasn't the first time, because as I was being pulled through a tube of light, I was trying to scream. And then I thought in my head, oh yeah, nobody can hear me when this happens. And so that was my first conscious memory of being taken aboard a ship. And I think that has everything to do with Megan.
Do you think she was part of that genetic upgrade when you were pregnant?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She is part of that genetic upgrade, and she has children, twins too, that are also a part of that genetic upgrade.
Wow. What was the most surprising about her? I'm just curious, when she was born, that you knew she was like a different sort of child.
It was when, gosh, Megan, you must have been 5 or 6. You know, she's always been highly intuitive, and she has always seen spirits. So unfortunately, during that time, I had no idea what to do with that or what it even meant. But as I followed my journey into spirituality, everything I learned, Megan learned. She was there with me by my side as I was learning about paganism and Wicca, and then there by my side when I was learning intuition. And of course, she just was on it. She was on it. She was giving readings by the time she was 15 years old, right, Megan? Or younger than that. You were highlighted in the newspaper of the town we lived in.
Wow. Great. Thank you both for being here. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your lives with us. Yes. Okay. And so I think we have one more. Is that one more person there?
We have 2 more. Next,
good.
Let's go to Phil Gruber. Do you like to share about who you are and what you do in the world?
Let me just say about Phil, I always like to say that I do owe Phil my career in a sense, because I said, Phil, how do you get up there and just start talking? And he says, it's just like this. You just open your mouth and you just keep going. It just comes through you and you just keep going on and on, and it just flows. And I said, really? That's all you have to do? And then he helped me get out there. So thank you, Phil, again, for being a friend and a mentor.
Well, I happen to mention that one of my pet peeves is to be misquoted. No, you got it. You got close. Anyway, before I start, Celia, do you have any relatives in Texas? Because,
is that an intuition you're getting?
I got very close many years ago with some Fenns that lived in Texas. You remember Sherry Lynn Fenn from Twin Peaks? Well, her mother is a really highly regarded spiritual teacher that I met Alan through Star Fuentes. And so I know some Fenns in Texas. And
okay.
Michelle, I was very close with your with your sister, Jill St. John, right? Aren't you married to James Franciscus? Aren't you Jill St. John's sister, Michelle Lee?
Are you sure you're on the right program, Phil?
Oh, okay. You're the other Michelle Lee. I get it now. Okay. I had to get that out of the way. I'm sorry. I'm just so into this book.
I know Phil has the first copy of my book there, my handmade. Okay, Phil, what are you going to share with us today?
You have to forgive me. I'm slightly between deep fried and lightly sauteed. I'm just getting off of a full day seminar teaching about Lewis Carroll, the mathematics and the metaphysics of Alice through the looking glass, and what she found there. So it was an amazing workshop. There's a lot of great info that Carol was channeling in. I've been fortunate to have been gifted through direct access and a series of teachers and mentors. I have a lot of extremely sophisticated information on the origins and destiny of our race, the physics and metaphysics of consciousness and creation, ascension mechanics, and I'm just blown away by that. And of course, I had a walk-in experience when I was 6 years old. I was hit dead on with a car going about 60 miles an hour, thrown up in the air down the street. I actually have a picture that was taken right after my walk-in experience. Look at this. Would you look at that face? Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at those eyes. Come on. Very, very different from before the walk-in. And so the walk-in was here about maybe 10 or 12 years. And I was just given loads and loads of information that through the years, I was able to verify. I had a membership in a magical fraternity. I've had access to libraries, private libraries that really have just taught me that this information that I got when I was very, very young, that I didn't understand. I didn't know how to deal with it until I got older. That's very important now because I think we're at a time, a very critical juncture in our tenure here as embodied souls, that we really have to understand who we are, where we come from, why we're here, what our purpose is. I mean, some of the most fundamental questions we ask ourselves. And I'm just really honored to be with all of you because now the puzzle comes closer together. Now we see how all the pieces fit. And I think that we have a really good shot at it this time that we haven't had for a long time, of not just individuals and groups making out during these ascension cycles, but I mean the planet itself. And I think the evolutionary journey of all of us as embodied souls is to ascend, is multidimensional identity integration to join our more extended families of light, freedom. So I think we all have a piece of those freedom teachings that are going to be able to just set all of us free. I think we're here in dedicated and sincere service. And I think we're doing a heck of a job. And I'm just so honored to be with all of you. I think we're in really good company. I think,
Thank you,
especially for this. Yeah.
We are in good company with all of us here. Thank you for, I mean, being up. Is it like 2 a.m. there in Singapore?
It's 12:30 in the, it's early in the morning in Singapore here. I'm pretty fried, but I'll hang with you. You know, I'm a trooper. I'll be there.
Right. Well, we will come
I'm
back.
very much looking forward to, many of you I haven't met. Some of you I know by reputation. And Alan, of course, the best man at my wedding.
We go back. It's probably like 40 years, I think, though. But let's not go there now, okay? Let's move into the future.
I wasn't.
I was going there for a second. So, okay. Who's
Yes.
our next person?
We have one more, and thank you so much, Phil, for your perseverance and staying up late to be with us. Our final panelist is Gary Kiss, and he has an amazing photon light technology. It's brand new. I have personally experienced it, and it's incredible. So go ahead and share with us, Gary.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for having me. It's really an honor to be here. So I'm the CEO of Alchemy Technologies. I'm just going to jump right into it because I'm glad everyone is on the same page. So this makes life a lot easier. I believe what I have in my possession is the technology that is restoring our original genetic blueprint and is helping to accelerate and create that ascension. So I'm getting right to the point. What this technology is doing, going back to what Doctor said, our body, we're 85% energy and electricity. We're 15% physical matter. And photons are the base of all life. It powers all life, from photosynthesis in the plants to biosynthesis and all physiological processes in the body. Our DNA is made up of a light structure and a physical structure. In that physical structure, we have all of our genetic codes, all of our personality traits, all of our karmic lessons, our destiny path. It's all embedded in our DNA. The vibration of our DNA is what creates our biofield. So here is the intertwining of our light body and our physical body. And if you truly want to heal the physical body, you must first address the light body. And when the DNA is impaired, or that vibration of the DNA is impaired, the biofield is impaired. When your biofield is impaired, it's directly connected to the immune system. And then when the immune system is up for attack, then here goes your bloodstream. So again, our light and energetical bodies are so directly intertwined, and this is where it starts. It starts on the subatomic level of the DNA. I have the technology that is putting the biophotons back into the light structure of the DNA, and fascinating things are happening. Manifestations are happening in hours. Clearing of the 8th chakra, the 5th chakra, activating of all the chakra systems happening in minutes. 20, 30 years of pain is going away in minutes. Anxiety, depression is going away in minutes. And we are showing where I've done many tests utilizing dark field microscopy, proving where parasites, how are these creatures so intelligent, and they're a unicellular organism. They have no brain. How do they operate so intelligently? And we applied the photon light to the blood. All the parasites started dying in minutes. Within 20 minutes, they were coming out of the blood cell. These are parasites that are not even detected. They're not detected even in the blood test, because the parasites are hiding inside of the blood cell. Once the photon light was applied to the blood, it all started pouring out. What was really happening? How are these parasites operating so intelligently? They don't have a brain. Why? They're connected to a biofield, which is connected to an external source of a very low vibrational frequency. When we applied the photon light into our space, to the blood, it cut the informational cord from the energetical parasite to the physical parasite. That's why the physical parasite died. That's when the Cambridge and Harvard doctors joined my team, when they had that aha moment. What looks like a crystal ball, for lack of better words. I was just at a retreat with Waxella, maybe about a week and a half ago, and I did a little mini presentation, and then I asked who would like to experiencing the photon energy. We passed it around. Every single person that night, and I told them what they were going to experience. Every single person that night, I said, you're going to have a deep sleep and you're going to have very vivid dreams. And we all did. And the reason this happened is because this energy is going in through the biofield into the body, and it's getting into the DNA and restoring the original information of the blueprint in the DNA. Why? Because our information is light. And when people were having all these dreams and these emotional purgings, because when we have these emotional traumas, it gets stored in the subconscious. And then as it piles on, it gets imprinted into the cellular memory. And then as it piles on again, it gets stored into the DNA. And then if we don't deal with it, it gets passed down to another generation. So what the photon light does, or what light does, it helps us to open up and clear those imprints that are stored in our cellular memory, so we can move it out and make room for the light. It's all about the light, because the light holds information, and that information is it accelerates us, it expands us. So the people who are not, I noticed the people who are having the most difficult time on this planet right now are the people who are not processing their internal lessons, the traumas, the emotional traumas, because the light is trying to it's knocking on the door and it's not getting in, and they're not letting it out.
Can we see what this looks like, your machine? Do you have
I'll do one better. I could put the device on the phone and everyone will feel the energy.
Yes.
The Zoom.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. Yes.
Hey, Ellen.
Yes. Or you want to do it late? Yeah.
No, I also want to let everybody know, Gary, I'm going to host this excuse me, but Gary and I will be doing a free hour of this photon light on March 21st at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And anybody who's on the Alchemy of Ascension Summit, the speakers all give free gifts, and this is Gary's free gift. So if anyone wants to really have the distance experience, it's amazing that it actually does work this way. I've experienced it too, for an hour, and then Gary will be able to answer questions there as well. That happens March 21st at 2:30. You can sign up through the summit, so make sure you're getting the free summit. And his interview comes out in 2 days on the 14th.
Right. And where are you located, Gary?
I am in an area called Weeki Wachee, Florida, just north of Tampa.
Oh, I wish I knew that when I was in Tampa, but all right. So you want to do that now, Waxella? Have a like a little minute of light, and then
Sure.
people can respond as well. So, okay.
I'll just walk you through very quickly. Just keep your focus on the photon ball, because our focus is the connector. And uncross your legs. If the legs are crossed, keep your focus and let the energy come in. Notice it will first work on the nervous system, so you might feel calm. Couple more minutes. Couple minutes.
Wow. Thank you. Wow. I'll say what I felt, but we can go around. I just felt this expansion in my pituitary pineal gland that just kind of felt like this opening. What did you feel, Celia?
I felt very peaceful, and I also felt throat area, and as you say, this pineal gland area very much activated. I just want to say, Gary, that the work I'm doing with the DNA is very similar to yours, except I don't have a crystal ball. What I work with is connecting to spirit, because you're getting very high frequency light coming down through spirit, and it works the same way. It activates whatever. But I like what you're doing because it's making it available to people who might not have
Yes,
that level of consciousness. It's like a shortcut into
exactly.
hearing of the body. So well done to what you
Thank
do.
you.
Well, what about you, Megan? Megan, did you, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I felt it also in the third eye area. I would say it's very similar to being tuned in, right? When there's infinite intelligence coming through. So that was my experience.
And Michelle, what about you?
Similar. I felt very calm and peaceful, and I felt some healing taking place within my neck and throat area.
And Melissa, what about you?
Oh, you're
Wait,
muted.
That's okay.
I'm used to being the one on the Zoom, not the. Anyway, sorry. Definitely the third eye, absolutely. And once it moved down, and actually, what I was told that there was more of a coherence between, because then it moved to my heart, and then it kind of cohered the heart and the brain.
Yeah. And Phil, you feel everything. So what did you feel?
But that was really interesting what you just said. It's about coherence, because if we do truly live in a holographic universe, you can take a hologram of an apple and rip it up into 100 pieces, and you're going to get 100 pieces of the apple, but everything to restore the whole image is on every piece, but you need coherent light to do it. So this technology coheres, just like you said, and I love it that the fact that your name, KISS, you know, our English word kiss comes from the Scottish Gaelic, kythe, Kythe, and it means to appear without disguise.
Nice.
So with this technology is clarifying, and it's
Right.
purifying the field. And I thank you for that. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And John, what about you? What'd you get?
Thanks, Alan. Thank you, Gary. It was a beautiful experience. I found at first I was connecting to the ball and I was visually looking at the image on the screen, but to experience, I had to close my eyes and go inside to really feel it. And it was the same. I felt it first in the pineal gland, and it really became active there. And then I could feel little waves of energy pulsing down, like water through soil. You could feel the energy just kind of sinking down through the energy fabric of the body. And it worked its way down, and then I could feel the chakras in my feet pulsing as if it was connecting, through, but it came from above in a downward fashion. And I could feel a beautiful, coherent energy through the system. The work I do, like Celia was saying, it's more spirit-based, where you're connecting spirit through consciousness to matter.
Yes.
And the energy has a very similar feeling, but it's powerful
Yes.
to see it as a catalyst represented in a crystalline form. So it was really beautiful. Thank you.
Well, I want to interview you about this, Gary, because I want to ask, how did you make it? What's the transmission? How can I get one? And how can I make my own? That's
Sure, no
so.
problem.
Okay. I mean, how long did it take?
Wants the IKEA version of everything.
Thanks, Phil. How long did it take to do that? And then we'll go into other discussion. But how long did it take to kind of formulate the whole device?
I will say this technology was created in the 12th and 13th century. And it went missing. It went underground for 2 centuries, and then it showed up around the time of Jesus. And it was captured in the painting of Leonardo da Vinci when he painted the Salvator Mundi. If anyone is familiar with that painting with Jesus holding the orb, that orb I was contacted by 3 scientists, and that orb is photon energy. And the photon is the omnipotency of the Christ consciousness. So I don't believe it's any coincidence that this type of technology has been gifted to us through our channels in this day and age, because it's needed, and it went missing in all the other times because I guess it just wasn't ready for it to resurface. So right now, I did have an experience with Celia. Is it Celia? Where a couple of women in Arkansas purchased the technology from me, and they were going to do an interview with Celia, and then they saw me again in this interview today, and now Celia and I are in the same panel because they were going to take it to Hot Springs to help to activate the crystalline grid, because what this technology was ultimately designed to do is 2 things. It's designed to spread into the people that comes to it, that are attracted to it, because it's a soul resonance, but it creates a grid between everyone that has it, and it raises the vibrational frequency of the planet. And they were going to do this at Hot Springs because I believe there was the 2nd largest mineral deposits in that area.
Yeah.
And the second reason it was also designed is to set souls free, the souls that are stuck between dimensions, who did not gain enough spiritual energy in this life to cross over. Those are the souls that ends up feeding. They become sub-personalities and ends up feeding on our spiritual energy, which gets stuck into a biofield. When you introduce this technology into your area, it gives them enough light to ascend. And here goes a lot of our illnesses disappearing. So we have a lot of these occurrences happening because a lot of things that are happening right now, it's really energy and entity based. So when you can apply high vibrational light frequency and repair the energetical structures of the DNA, the physical body falls, everything else realigns, all the physiological processes comes back online, and you're connected, because people should understand that in order to heal, if you cannot calm the mind and the nervous system, you cannot be in a meditative state. And if you cannot be in a meditative state, you cannot pray and reconnect to source. When you reconnect to source and you pray, let's call it God's love. You pray for God's love, it goes up and comes back down. It feeds your biofield, strengthens the biofield, and then it strengthens the physical body.
Wow.
This is the connection of
this is
meditation.
Ascension tech. No, I was just saying it's Ascension technology that you're sharing. Actually, someone online said they felt it actually just watching the YouTube, coming, opening, swirling around their head and going down their body. But yeah, I want to talk to like everyone about not necessarily a technology, but their Ascension tools. And
Yes.
Thank you, Gary. That is a revolution here that we're doing. And just one thing I want to comment when you said about enough soul power to kind of, I was reading the Tao Te Ching, and the Tao Te Ching is the way of integrity. So having integrity is a way of gaining soul power, in a sense. That's what
it really does. You're right. It really does boil down to that. And to even simplify it even more, we have, this is called the gong energy, and the gong energy is symbolized by the halo around the head in a lot of the prophets and the archangels, and that can only be gained through, like you said, doing good deeds for someone selflessly from the heart, and getting that blessing back in return. It accumulates around this area. So
that's great. No, let's talk to like everyone else about their tools. Like Melissa, what kind of tools and techniques for what we just experienced, raising the frequency? Because I think we all have access to those realms, but we need people coming forward to kind of bring through that information. What do you get?
Yeah, I actually, what I've been hearing more lately is that there's a very specific blueprint that is coming through from the void through the galactic center, and it has to come from the void. So the blueprint's already been created within the void energy, which is the quantum, and that blueprint is coming through. And the specific activations, there's not one way to activate. but it is more potent in group energy systems. So if I'm just sitting at home in my own little space going, activate me, it's going to have less frequency and availability as with as opposed to groups. So what they've been telling me is, so I work with, they call themselves the Ascension Councils. These are multi-dimensional, thousands of different councils, and there's a lot of collective consciousness that comes through. So I'm just asking what to say, so that's why my eyes are closed. And what they want to bring in is the groups, gathering the groups, and there are certain power spots. And you don't have to be in a power spot, but there are power spots that are being activated, more activated, like Sedona is one of them, but there are many. And as they're being activated in these groups, they are creating a more solidified blueprint, but this process is happening. So what I'm hearing is gathering in groups with the intention of bringing in light code frequencies, which, and they just want to add one more thing. When you bring in the light codes, you're bringing in a few different energies. You're bringing in the glyphs, the frequencies, the light codes themselves, the keys, and the, I'm missing one. But when you're bringing through that energy, it's activating in different ways within the energy body, within the DNA, and then within the groups.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you for that. Wow, wow, wow. Celia, looks like you want to say something. I mean, can you add to that? What's your tools?
I wanted to
Go
say
ahead.
something about what Gary was talking about, because he was talking very much about healing the physical body and activating the physical. But as you do that, you're moving through to the soul and the spirit, and you're allowing our physicality to rise. This is the true meaning of ascension. And that takes us into galactic and soul and angelic realms. And what has held us back and why we have struggled with ascension is because of this physical thing. We just haven't been able to fully clear our bodies and fully activate those templates that Melissa was speaking about. So what I do is I work with what I call higher consciousness, which is bringing down soul, spirit, energy into the physical body, into the heart, and creating an energy of peace and love and compassion. And that in turn allows you to be open to light codes coming in from galactic solar sources to activate the DNA. You're activating both the original template for the human angel that is in each one of us. And also you're activating the new earth template, which is a template that we are busy forming right now to allow us to move into this higher level of consciousness and to take, I hope, everyone with us and to take the planet with us. So it's such an exciting time. And as Waxella was saying, so much work to do. And I keep getting told we just have to get out there and do this work with people to allow for this ascension process.
Well, thank you.
To add to this, I would love to add to this, because although this this verbiage of coming through and channeling and coming into us is an up level from the cognitive thinking or the scarcity thinking, and yet the ultimate is that the out there is here. Right? It is the I am that I am. And so the channeling of other entities, including galactic, is a way in which we can, even at this ascended level, sort of comprehend that we're getting a message from out there. But the ultimate, and so there's still a level of distortion in that. The ultimate is I am that I am, right? And so infinite intelligence is actually coming from within. It doesn't always, it's not only delivered from above or even center earth, right? It's from within. It's the very the absence of distortion. And I think that's really where the next level is, right? That right now we're getting very clear that we can access information out there. And then it is, oh, wait, it was never out there. It's right here. The universe it starts at that pinpoint in the heart.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm getting so much just from this conversation that it reminds me that ascension, ascension
I
is
just
the
want
key.
to,
Yeah.
to say something because Megan seems to think I'm suggesting that out there comes in there. The teaching I work with is that 3 levels are part of the one. So I would agree with you, that I'm not saying it's different or I'm arguing with you. I'd agree with you. But there are different aspects of our being. Okay. So I just wanted to say that in case people were thinking that I was advocating something out there as opposed to inside of us. I do agree with you that it is inside of us, but we are multi-dimensional, multi-level. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Anna.
Right. Hey, John, I want to bring you into the conversation because I know your tools and technologies are very much geared along these lines. What are your tools?
It's fascinating to listen to how different people perceive the phenomena that's happening. But the way the work I do it's similar, I think, to the way Celia works, in that it's about working through the access of the spirit. And the way this information was shown to me was through what I refer to as the 24th chromosome, or the quantum DNA axis. And this is a field of energy that's with us each time we incarnate. So even though our genetics, for example, we're born at different points in time along the timeline of the earth in different bodies, and we have different incarnations, there's a common field of energy that's present with us in each one of those incarnations. And the way that this energy was shown to me was the 24th chromosome. And this was seeded by the Pleiadian mothers when they first came to the planet in the time of Lemuria, like making this connection, this quantum connection of the energy to the human physical body. And each one of us as a soul has this embodiment. And the ascension to me is the process of recalibrating this whole axis of energy so that we remember the original information, the coding that came from the beginning when we were first delivered, if you will, to the planet as a soul, or we first decided to come here as a soul on the planet. And so we've lived through many experiences, and there's an energetic clearing that needs to take place, or recalibration. And the work I do in unity field healing works with a light template. It's like a quantum crystalline light field that works through the axis of the quantum DNA structure. And it's done through sessions, energy sessions, that bring that energy into the process to help recalibrate that energy access. It's neat because everybody is talking about crystalline embodiment. And the ascension, we think about the ascension as reaching out and getting information or bringing information in. But we're all cognizant of the fact that it is the embodiment of that energy and that knowledge and that experience. And it comes through the heart. When it really lands in full force, it's not a concept, it's an experience, and it's really coming through the heart as a force of presence. And so as we learn to embody that energy and hold it in our energy system, we're a light force. We're each becoming this luminous field of energy that ascends the energy of the physical body in vibration to a state where healing and presence is a natural way of being. And then in that state of energy, there's a healing force of presence in each person just by the fact that they carry that energy in their system.
That's great. Waxella, I'm getting a lot just from listening to everyone. And I actually feel like the vibration in my body as an integration process. Phil, were you going to say something? Join our conversation.
I always got something to say.
I know you do.
It is, if you'll allow me, it is believed that the being known as Yeshua, Sinanda, Melchizedek, his half-sister Miriam, and a being known as Azariah that we've come to know as John the Baptist were contracted to translate a portion of what's called the Eternal Door Torah. These are 12 holographic discs that were given to us about 200,000 years ago as a restatement of what's called the Emerald Covenant, the original creation agreement that the Branau Rishi made within themselves about 950 billion years ago. A part of those translations became known as, Gary, here it is, the books of process, which are Ascension manuals, and that include the construction of, there's a lot of orb technology and Ascension technologies. When you have the double helix, there, you know, the ladder rungs that look like the ladder rungs of the DNA, the nucleotide base pairs, they're actually hydrogen bonds. And every 23rd angstrom unit, there's a little break in it. So what has to happen is the DNA helixes have to come together. When they fuse together, something called DNA fire codes release, and the DNA strands come together, creating this a beautiful superluminal element called celestine. You can find it in blue celestite, but that celestine has a lot to do with molecular transmutation. It's a radioactive silicate. It's creates superluminal photonic light. It's a big part of the ascension process, and it helps release seals that release the electromagnetic spirals that we affectionately call the transharmonic Akasha-Merkaba vehicle, which allows us to bridge the dimensions and harmonic universes. So these technologies and everything that we're talking about are just, you know, we come through different filters, how we approach this work. But I think when we come together, it is so synergetic. It's something called, there's an emergent property that we have separately, we have amazing pieces of it. But when we come together, something is created that wasn't possible looking at these in isolation. And that, I think, is such a beautiful thing. It's the principle and the property of emergence. And what is emerging is what we affectionately call as the new human, which is really the old human, the original angelic human.
Yeah, but I do think we are. I think there's a vibrational shift that wasn't part of the old human. And Michelle, please, I didn't forget you. I just want to bring you in here.
I just need to finish one sentence, Alan.
Sure, Phil, of course.
So when you want to escape, for the DNA helixes to fuse together, the hydrogen bonds have to separate. And every 23rd angstrom unit, there's a bonding irregularity. So you see, the lesson is, when you want to escape the bondage of Egypt or the three-dimensional body, the Red Sea has to part. Those are the hydrogen bonds that have to part so the DNA helixes can fuse, creating that beautiful photonic light, that ascension element. So there you go. Okay.
Okay. Well, maybe you and Gary should collaborate on that something. So
anyway,
Michelle, thank you for waiting to jump in.
My pleasure.
Cool.
I love Phil's perspective. That's incredible. The Red Sea parting. That's great. I also really resonate with, the new human is actually the original blueprint of the human. And I work with several tools. I do activations, DNA activations. I connect deeply with Mother Mary, Jesus's mother, and the original form of creation. And that's what she was, the embodiment of creating light on earth. And so in the Sophia Mystery School and with my private clients as well, I support them in releasing and detaching from the programs that have been used against humanity to bury our light, to bury the original blueprint. And that's the work I do, is really help them discover within themselves what programs are running, and release those and activate the DNA within them for our original blueprint.
But how do you discover it, those programs, and then how do you release it? But how do you discover it?
That is part of, I think, my superpower, I'm encoded in seeing what others don't see. So spending just a little bit of time with people, I can see what programs are running, what just by what they say. You can pick it out, like what's underlying what they think is happening. And then I use emotional freedom technique. I use hypnotherapy, simply reframing it and going like, does that really make sense? Because those programs that we've embodied actually are illogical. They are illogical programs. And when you really begin to dissect them and demonstrate that to my clients, they're like, oh, you're right. That does not even make any sense. And then with that, going in with the activation. Oh, I can't.
The activation is another tool that you have, another like technique.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a technique. I channel whatever comes through me, my higher self. We hold all of the wisdom, as Megan was saying. We hold all of the wisdom. We are all one. So the wisdom of Mother Mary, the wisdom of the archangels is within me, is within you. So I channel that, tuning in to the clients that I'm working with or the group that I'm working with to activate their next level.
Wow, thank you. Waxella, I didn't mean to leave you out because I know. I mean, you're encompassing all of this. What do you want to say? And as you talk, I think I'll just spotlight our little crystal ball there. But give us your
Sure.
your information.
Well, I just absolutely love all of these people, and I'm so delighted to be able to share with all of them and have them share what they do. For me, my life's work is about embodied ascension, coming into the body and really activating it from within. I agree with everything everybody's sharing. For me, the diamond light of the heart, the infinitely faceted diamond light of the heart, the portal of that heart light is the hologram of the whole universe, and we can travel within to access anything in creation and beyond. So for me, that's where my joy is in taking people into their embodiment. And what I found is so many people who identify as spiritual, as starseeds, as empaths, it's very difficult to be in the body, especially like Gary said, when there's trauma, when there's density, when it's just uncomfortable and we feel so much. It's hard sometimes to get in here, but yet all of our effectiveness, all of our manifestation capabilities, all of our spiritual really joy comes from being in this vehicle for this short time that we have it on this planet. It's such a special gift. So to be able to come in and activate the physicality, the body, the DNA through many different processes. I have 5 divine light technologies, as well as some physical technologies, such as Gary's photon light. And quantum sound therapy, but bringing all of these things together. I love tools. I think, I'm all for tools because yes, we can absolutely do it ourselves. I like the analogy of we can also walk everywhere, but we like to drive in cars and airplanes so that we can get there faster, right? And that's okay. Right. So I love the technologies, but of course I love, just whatever we can bring in to have a higher quality of embodiment and to raise the frequency of our physicality incrementally, step by step, so that we can hold higher and higher frequencies of light within our physical body. To me, that is the purpose of being embodied in an ascension process. So specifically at this time. And so my heart's work while I'm here is really to assist humanity with their ascension and their embodiment.
Well, thank you. So we have about 20 minutes left for this session. Where would you like to take the panel as far as
thank you for that.
Discussion?
And I want to leave the last 5 minutes for Mark Atwood's Starseed video poem that he did. But in the meantime, I would love to ask, because this is all about activating starseeds, activating the new human, and of course the walk-ins who are already activated at a high level. I would love to open it up for the panel to talk about how specifically do you share with people, how can they activate? We do these meditation activations, but do you have a specific technique that you can share, or some advice for individuals on how to activate to a higher level? And go ahead. Whoever wants to raise their hand, or
Well, let me just bring Neil in here, because he's missed the last round. And Neil has Portal to Ascension. He's bringing together all these technologies and information. Neil, what really stands out for you when you think about the portal that you opened here for us?
Yeah, I mean, I've been using the word, as soon as I basically woke up to all this awareness and even went into ancient history, immediately got into this awareness of a lot of these ancient civilizations were speaking about some sort of return of the kingdom of heaven, return of the Messiah, across many different ancient cultures. And that immediately took me to a realization that this is a metaphor for the return of the Messiah within. So the whole thing in Christianity, Jesus is coming back, the return of the Christ. We hear in Judaism, Christ wasn't the prophet. Christ wasn't the son of God. He was just a prophet. So the real one's coming back now. We hear in Hinduism that Krishna is coming back. Same story as Jesus' story, actually, almost exact. And many other cultures, the return of Quetzalcoatl, right? So I started diving deep into the ancient history and the archetypal nature of this. And it seemed that they were speaking about some sort of resurrection of the consciousness within us, personified in these mythical stories about other individuals. There could really be an avatar that gets incarnated again, but it also seemed like it was speaking about something within. So that immediately took me to the whole ascension process when I started looking at the Yuga cycle. So Ascension was in my mind, like in 2001, 2002, age 18, 19. Then I created the group, 2012 Consciousness, Mind, Evolution, and Presence in 2006. And I had a period of 2 years, the group changed. I realized it wasn't about the mind. It wasn't about a date. It was not about 2012. And then finally in 2008, when I shifted from hardcore conspiracy theorists to unconditional love activists, I realized that the bigger picture of it all. And I had a dream to change the name to Portal to Ascension. And at first, when I started using that name, I did have a lot of people not a lot of people, but a handful of people that didn't even want to work with me because of the word ascension. I tried to work with like this Gnostic community and things like that. And what I realized was some people believe that term is an escapist term, almost like spiritual bypassing. Ascending, we need to fix the world right now. But to me, ascension is a paradox in itself, because the only way we can ever create an ascended world, right, where we live in harmony, that we all love ourselves, we love each other, we take care of the planet, we live consciously and intentionally, is by really finding the beauty of being human in this now moment. So even though we do all of this work about, teaching people about their ancient history, sacred sexuality, UFOs, and beyond, ultimately, why do we end every single event with something that's completely, it might be an event where you may not even think it's about meditation, but at the end, we have some sort of intention reflecting it within us, is because unless we do the inner work and release, our traumas, get to a place of balance and, connect to it, who we truly are, we can't even create that external reality. So to me, ascension is that in itself, a paradox. We can only be in that utopian reality by doing the inner work and finding the beauty of this now moment.
You're absolutely right. Thank you so much for that, because it reminds me of this teacher I had in the 80s when the whole ascension movement began and everyone wanted to ascend. And this teacher says, everyone wants to ascend and no one wants to live. Ascension comes from a life well lived, was the message. And that's it. It's being embodied, not escaping as divine suicide through ascension, but loving the earth plane and this amazing biological tool we have to experience this level of reality. So that's why, I mean, just sitting here with everyone, I'm actually feeling the vibration of your consciousness that is attuning to bringing in that frequency. And you know, it's so much better than just going to the football game, I'll tell you, drinking beer. No, there's something that we share together that is of a frequency, right? Celia, you feel this with every place you go and channel to. Do you have something you want to bring into this group from those levels?
You were asking about what we use to activate people.
Yes.
So I was just going to say that I work a lot like Melissa, I think it was. I find that group activations, working with a group of people together in a meditation situation, is the most powerful way to activate individuals, which activate us. And I also find that when we do these group activations, we connect or we send or transmit it out globally or around the planet so that anyone can feel it. I think it's important for anyone, even people who have no connection to spirituality, to feel in the field that there are these new humans emerging and that there is a new frequency coming out. And with every activation I do, I ask everyone to transmit that frequency out so that it can be felt in a planetary way by individuals, but within this field. And then I just also like to say one thing I'm very excited about, which I've been taught by Archangel Michael, is as we step into this new reality and this new species that we're becoming, heart-centered, luminous beings, we become, there are subspecies, which I call Galactica, Christica, and Angelica. And we identify with them, the angelic families, the galactic families, or the Christed energy family. And each of us, in our own ways, connecting with these families as part of our ascension into higher consciousness, as we discover where we come from and what is our ancestral line in terms of our soul and our spirit.
Wow. Thank you. I just love listening to your voice too. It's so relaxing. Megan, did you want to say something there, Megan? I saw some energetic movement.
I was putting my feet between my legs. Right, I'm so cold, but I would very similar to what Gary mentioned earlier is that we are 85% energy and 15% matter. And so when it comes to the creation process, which is where I go with my clients in creating wealth or really any creation, but I really focus on that of rich and wealthy experiences in this 3D experience, is that we spend 85% of our time focusing on the energetics. Now, I actually didn't know until Gary said that we are 85% energy, 15% matter. I did not know that. And now it's making a lot of sense why what has come through is that we spend 85% of our time aligning with our essence, with our infinite intelligence, and 15% of that time taking divine action. And so that's really a process that I use in Ascension in any area, is that combination of 85% in the energetics, being in the meditative space, downloading the information, and then 15% divine action so that we are, still in this very human experience and we get to have the experience that we want.
Great. No, I love that. Gary, did you want to say something? Because you just did your initial presentation, and I'm interested because I have a tool for Ascension, then how were you able to access the mind to bring in the tool? That's, and how can we all do that right now? No.
I'll say it like this. We all have the ability to do this. We all have the ability to be billionaires, but we're not. So this is, unfortunately, we are bombarded by so many other low vibrational frequencies. Even meditating now, when we can meditate one time a day and we can feel the effects for 3 days or 4 days, it's not like that anymore because we are bombarded by so much more negative frequencies that disconnects us, from that source. And it's very hard for the average person who's not coming into this world with a very high spiritual capacity. And sometimes we take that for granted because we assume everyone has some level of this connection, but it's very hard for the average person with the average life to connect to this. And this is why, and it's they're not making it any easier for us, unfortunately. And I believe this is why this photon technology was given to us, and it was, it comes through an extremely high spiritual channel, and through that dimension, this is connected to the angelic realm. This when I've had many people around this technology, and they describe it as the Holy Spirit or the Christ consciousness. Kind of like when you go to church and you go up in front and you have that calling to the front, and everyone is putting their hands on you with the same common intention, and you have this big outburst of emotions come out and you feel light. And they say the Holy Spirit's coming in or the Christ consciousness is coming in. It's kind of feels like that because it's clearing the dark cellular, the dark matter imprinted into our cells and lighting up the DNA.
Yeah.
So the how, to be quite honest, the how is proprietary, but the how it works is not, and really all that this technology is doing is just simply taking the photons from the atmosphere and it's concentrating it around the photon ball, creating a photon area. And when you're in the area of the photons, you're able to be penetrated without the additional interruptions of the other things that are, disharmonizing the biofield. So this is why our biofield and our DNA is under attack, So when you can be around pure photon energy, it strengthens the biofield, harmonizing your body and the energetics of your body, where you can then reconnect to source once more and feel what it feels like. And it makes me happy because I can give the average person the opportunity to do that. Someone who has no experience, I believe this is a tool for spiritual people like us and who's on that path to accelerate us even more. And it's also a tool to help people who wants to get on that path, but not necessarily may not know how. So
Right. No, thank you. That's excellent. I just want to welcome Celestine Starr, who's part of our next series of panels. But hang in there, Celestine. And what people who are talking about here, Melissa and Celia, is that what comes to me, because I'm feeling the vibration of all of us gathering, is that saying when two or more are gathered, that's I am there. The I am presence is there. So John, do you want to bring in any energies to join into this I am presence of all of us here?
Absolutely. I really feel the energy too, Al, and I think it's a beautiful gather. You can feel the power of the vortex, if you will, the collection of everybody together. The work I do is there are different ways, I guess, that the energy can be brought forward. And so the work I do kind of takes two streams. There's healing work, which is the work of unity field healing, working in the quantum field of energy on an individual basis and attuning practitioners to be able to work in that field. And then there's the transmissions, which are working directly with the Syrians to bring in ascension energies and to bring them down to earth, bring them through the body, through the mind, through the heart, and into the experience of the individual. And so as we're talking, I'm thinking it would be beautiful to take just a moment to feel the energy, just to attune to the process of that. And the Syrians
bring our Syrian friends in to visit here. Yes.
Everybody just take a minute, just close your eyes and go inside and feel your holy presence, feel your sacred energy in your body. And we feel a coherence that develops between us as we're working in this common field of unity. And over us, a beautiful pyramid begins to form. It's a golden white light, translucent energy. And the peak of the pyramid becomes very active and energy begins to descend through the pyramid structure. And it moves down through the pyramid and it moves around us collectively. And so we're in a unified field in a common quantum space. This is all the presenters and everybody listening, whether it's now or at another point in time. And in this unified field of energy, just open your heart and allow yourself to receive from this field exactly that which is right for you at this moment on your ascension journey. And just see a light building in your heart. It's as if you're accumulating the energy or allowing yourself to receive the energy for this manifestation. Everything that comes into the world of form has a blueprint in the field of energy and consciousness. Whether it's healing or any kind of a materialization, just let the energy build in your heart and begin to shine through your body. See it moving through the cells of your body and into the space around your physical body, as if you're drawing this energy from the stars and you're birthing it on the earth through the vehicle of your physical body. And let the energy organize in your system so it serves as a living blueprint of light and energy to bring into form the necessary sacred elements to help you realize this manifestation. The Syrians are reminding us it's a very difficult time on the planet for many reasons. And it's important we learn to hold the integrity of this light within our being. And even though there are many difficult things happening on the planet, the process of what's happening through the ascension has a future that's riddled in light. So keep faith, keep strong, and stay in the presence of light within you. This is your safety. It's your catalyst, and it's your future.
Thank you.
So, yes.
Thank you. So, let me just ask for Shayla, should we, we'll get like a closing and then we'll start the next panel, or should we just keep going? What do you think? Or we can start and stop. What do you think?
Well, thank you. And thank you, John. That was beautiful.
Yes.
I really felt that.
Yes.
So beautiful. Just a wonderful way to bring the energy in. And Phil, I see your hand up. So we'll give you a moment. But what I would like to do, Ellen, is to kind of switch out the panels. We'll let Phil say what he wants to say. And then
we'll let whoever else was on that. Oh, Michelle, I want to get here from, and Melissa, and then we'll switch out that panel, and then.
And in the switch, let's play Mark Atwood's YouTube video, the Starseed I See You. Do you have the link to that, Ellen, so we can share that?
Yes, I have the link.
Here. He is in the Alchemy of Ascension Summit. He couldn't be here in person, but he sent us that. It's 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So that'll be a nice opportunity for us to switch during that time.
Did he write the music for that? I was listening to something.
He wrote everything.
I wrote the music too.
Well, I can't say that about the music. Maybe it's in the notes. He did write, I know he does the poems and he films it. And so I'm sure he's, I'm sorry, I don't know that, but we'll have to ask him.
Only because I don't like showing other people's music. Anyway.
If it's music, yeah.
Right. So maybe we'll finish up this panel and then we can start again, like I can close this and start a new room as if it's a new show. Would that be good? And everybody who's on the next panel can just rejoin. Maybe that would be a little better. But let's finish this and then we'll get everyone else in and we'll see what we'll do. So, Michelle, how would you just give people tools and to go on as, you know, we kind of wrap this up, and also how to find you and Megan and all that, you know?
Okay, great. Well, the tool I suggest might sound a little less than esoteric and maybe a little boring, but the number one tool is really self-awareness, And, you know, not getting into this idea of ascension, like, oh, I can escape this. We ascend through us, and every experience we've had is a blessing to who we are and who we are to become. So becoming very super self-aware about what is holding us back, what fears. You know, the biggest thing we can do to ascend and to open our hearts and to awaken spiritually is to be uncomfortable, do the things that are most uncomfortable, have those difficult conversations, look at our shadows and acknowledge them and love them and bless them, and do that internal work is so important. And Megan and I can be reached at thesophiamysteryschool.com. And on Facebook, we have a group called Practical Magic Interactive Training, where we talk about making the mundane magic and being blessed in every way. You can catch us there. And Megan, you can hop in with your personal contact as well if you'd like.
Okay.
No, that's perfect. Sophia Mystery School.
Perfect.com.
Okay.
That's where you can find us.
Great. And Phil, you always like to have the final word. No, we'll go around everyone, see how
No,
we
I don't like
contact.
to have the last word, but I
You
do
always
think the
have the
last
last
word in is, if you want to really know the love that knows no earthly bounds, master perpetual gratitude and forgiveness. True forgiveness. In the Pistis Sophia, Jesus through the Magdalene says, with progressive apology, the soul is rendered innocent, and you are placed in a position of never having been separated from the one. Apologize if you feel you've been violated or you violated. The biggest tool I can recommend is to forgive yourself and forgive them, because the word apology means not many. Apollo means not many. So when you apologize, you're reaffirming the oneness. And I've always believed that there is nothing more powerful in heaven or on earth than the magic, than the sheer power of gratitude and forgiveness. That's
Right.
all.
That's good. And how do people find you? Or if
Me,
you want to be
I'm not
found?
that hard to find. Phil Gruber 153 at hotmail.com. Phil Gruber
Right.
153. And this is the mantra that Jesus gave to his disciples. Get them into that field of forgiveness. Zama, Zama, Oza, Rahama, Ozai. It's very, very powerful. Zama. The key is the Rahama, mercy. Give yourself mercy. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself.
Wow.
And then you can forgive others. And be grateful for the power of thought, that you can be in that position of feeling gratitude and offering forgiveness.
Thank you, Mr. Phil.
You're
Dr.
welcome,
Phil.
Alan.
Hey, Alan,
you.
I also want to say about Phil's interview. It's the grand
Yes.
finale of the show. It'll be aired on the 18th, or sent out on the 18th. And it was really, really beautiful the way Phil just brought so many concepts from the summit together. And he also has a really cool special offer that you won't want to miss. So anybody that wants to see that, be sure you're registered for the Alchemy of Ascension Summit Season 5.
Right. It's not the gift certificate from IKEA, is it, Phil?
No, it's not, Alan. That's only for you.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, John, how do people find you, and what do you want to leave these people with today?
Thanks, Alan. So you can reach me through the website. It's the easiest. It's access to everything. It's unityfieldhealing.com. So www.unityfieldhealing.com. And following the tremendous advice of Phil, I really want to end the day with gratitude. It's really been a heartful time to spend this time together with each and every one of you, and with the audience too. And thank you, Waxella, for the beautiful work you've done in bringing together this summit. We can really feel we're on the precipice of something special as we move forward through this year of 2022. And so I want to thank you personally as well, and Alan and Neil. So gratitude, full of gratitude, and that's how I'll spend my day. Thank you
Hey,
very much.
thanks, John, for joining us. And definitely everyone who's watching, watch the whole summit, everyone here. So, Celia, it's great to see you again. How can people find you and get a session and hear your voice again?
Thank you, Alan. You can connect with me through my website, which is starchildglobal.com. And I'd just like to say to everyone, just to remember to be in gratitude, be in your heart, connect with love, compassion, harmony, and peace.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll get to you after Melissa, Gary. Melissa, how do people find you and anything you want to leave us with today?
Yes, actually, I will take a quick minute just to say that because I never shared the tool that I wanted to share.
Oh, yes, please.
That's all right. But I just wanted to say that what I've been told is that you hold so much dense energy, and many people have talked about this from traumas, cellular memory, old genetic patterns from our cultural patterns, and they're all held in such a dense frequency. It's on those lower chakras usually is where we hold them. And what they were showing me and how they showed me for many years is that it's such a dense frequency, these lower energies. In order to bring more higher frequencies to bring in the light code energies, to ascend, to bring more balance and coherence within, we have to let go of some of those denseness, because the dense frequency and the light frequency, they can't kind of coexist as well. So I just wanted to share that. And that's really where, I don't just like tools, but I want people to really embody some of the information, because it's not about the tools, it's about the wisdom that you receive through the tools. And then Melissa, you're so welcome. Thank you for giving me that moment. And melissafeick.com, it's Feick. Again, I'm kind of all over the internet. So blessings. And oh my gosh, love you guys so much. What a beautiful group. So blessings to you, Alan and Waxella.
And we'll see you in Sedona for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. And what's that, everyone except Gary. Gary, thank you for sharing your technology. And how do people find you?
Well, thank you for having me here. Thank you, everyone. You can find me a couple of different ways. My website is www.alkywan.us. My email is info@alkywan.com. And if anyone is, I give my time back by, doing free photon sessions for people who, for however they want to apply this to their lives. I do a session for you over Zoom or over the phone, FaceTime, it doesn't matter. So I'm also available to do that, to share this experience with anyone. And I could be also contacted through Waxella as well. So I'll also put my email.
Great. Okay, great. Yeah, put your email there. I think that's everyone. So, and then I'm gonna stop this stream. So if everyone's watching online, but everyone who's for the second panel can stay here. I'm just gonna stop the stream. And if you're watching online, just sign back into New Realities. But Waxella, any final words for this panel from you? And just also mention your summit again, because
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Neil. It warms my heart. I feel so much gratitude for each and every one of the people here and for everyone who's watching as well. The Alchemy of Ascension Season 5, you can register for that and you have to be able to spell my name. That's a little hard. So hopefully we've got it in the show notes, Alan, if you could put it there. But it is waxellasananda.com. It's waxellasananda.com/AOA5. And that's for Alchemy of Ascension 5, the number 5.
Great. And and then people can sign up and also see the replay if they have have missed any of that. Yeah. So thank you. This has been a really fantastic gathering, and we're bringing something out into the world. So you can stick around for this movie I'm going to show now, and then we'll do a changeover. But I want to just thank everyone right now for watching on Zoom.